Macmillan Audio presents Playing with Fire by Renee Graziano. Read for you by Kate Zane. Prologue. The pool shimmered Caribbean blue under the moonlight, and the slight splash was the only sound she could hear over the accelerated respiration of her own breathing. Rain slid her hands over the shoulders of the man who held her. Their bodies were slick in the water, her legs around his waist, his hands cupping her hips, holding her in just the right position as his lower body moved urgently. "Baby," he said on a suffocated breath, his breath hot in her ear. "Holy fuck. Tell me you're close. This is too good. I can't hold on." She was close, aroused, immersed in sensation, the light slap of the water as they moved together part of the moment. Her arms wound around his neck, her breasts were tight against his muscular chest, and then the world shattered and went away as her orgasm rose, crested, and spilled over. The tidal wave was all heated sensation and perfect pleasure as she washed away in the flood. She floated, literally, into reality, the face of the man still holding her indistinct in the shadowed light, and she smiled and lifted a wet hand to touch his mouth. That was... She stopped. What was it? "Fantastic," he supplied. "I think I stopped breathing there for a full minute, Jesus." In truth, she might have said it was very good, damn good, actually. She was languid in the water in his arms, content, her heart slowing to a more reasonable pace. It was unfortunate they were enemies, locked in a struggle he didn't even recognize. That was fine. She preferred to be in control. But still, too bad. They might have been great together. Chapter 1. It wasn't like the dress was really over the top. Might just be the body in it. Nick Fattelli took a sip from his snifter and negligently set it aside, watching, but he wasn't the only one. He was pretty sure every man in the room had turned to look. The woman who had just come into the room was not even classically beautiful. Long dark hair, yes, he approved of that, and the sultry, unusual eyes to set it off. Her skin was flawless, but her features were not perfect. That was fine. He wasn't looking for perfect. A tilt to the eyes, just a hint, and a shade of a Roman nose. But still, she was very striking. The dress didn't hurt either, cut low enough to showcase her firm breasts and tight enough to accentuate what he thought was a world-class ass. He approved 100%. Rain. He turned and glanced at the man who had apparently caught him staring. What? That's her first name, Rain. Joey Carr took a small round cracker topped with pink shrimp and herb-flecked cheese from a tray, and somehow managed to pop it into his mouth and still make the movement still look sophisticated. He chewed and swallowed before he commented. "Saw you looking. Long stare. About 2 seconds over the ordinary. Don't worry. You aren't the first." Of that, he had no doubt now that he'd seen her. "Okay, guilty as charged. The story?" Carr knew everyone. Maybe it was his connection with the fashion icons in a city where how a person was dressed told you more about them than a background check. Carr was slightly overweight, but the cut of his jacket fooled the eye, and his fair hair was thinning just enough to accent a high forehead and austere features. His eyes were a very pale blue, and rumor had it, missed nothing. She's connected. Nick believed that. Their circles were fairly tight, this party an example. He glanced around the penthouse, saw the sleek furnishings and the tall, shining windows that gave way to a terrace overlooking...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?